This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Alex Krassyuk of K2 Promotions and the promoter of the new unified heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk. Alex, silly question, but how are you?
Pretty good. Not bad. What can I say?
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty good. You're not bad. Let's get on with it because I know that you're very, very busy. I do appreciate your time today. Talk to me about that fight on Saturday night. Oleksandr Usyk with an emphatic win over Anthony Joshua to claim the unified heavyweight titles. What a brilliant fight.
Not too many people expected him to win in that manner, but not his team. So he was stuck to the plan. The fight went exactly the way his corner planned it to go. So no surprises.
It's the way that the corner expected it to go and planned it to go. Did you feel like it would be that easy? Did you feel that he would win so convincingly on the night?
I had a live interview on DAZN just 20 minutes before the fight. And they asked me, the guy we met in hotel earlier that morning, and he said that when we met, I told him that it's going to be an easy walk for Usyk. And he asked me whether I still feel the same. Well, so, you know, the only difference was the 70,000 crowd in absolutely amazing atmosphere of Tottenham Hotspurs. That was actually the only thing that probably you cannot anticipate in the training camp. But that kind of energy, it just helped him. No surprises, you know. He did what he had to do. AJ was also stuck to the plan, but his plan was not the best one. His plan was to overbox Usyk, which I suggest is an impossible assignment, neither for AJ nor for any other heavyweight in the world at the moment.
Were you surprised with Anthony Joshua's performance? Were you surprised that, I know you said you're surprised that he tried to outbox him. Were you surprised that when that wasn't working, he didn't change his tactics at all? He didn't seem to try and use his superior size and strength? Or was it just because Usyk wouldn't allow him to do that?
That's exactly the point. Usyk, his opponent, did not allow him to do what he wanted to do. He tried to box, he jabbed. But according to, sorry, they tried to get me again. According to Compu Box, Joshua made, I think, more jabs than Usyk. So he tried. He was looking for the distance to place his hard right hand, what he usually does. But when a fighter in front of you moves that fast, you cannot just place, like, you know, like in a military plane, aircraft. You need to fix the target and then to throw the punch. So he didn't manage to fix the target.
What next for Oleksandr Usyk? Obviously, we heard about the rematch clause going into the fight. Anthony Joshua has a rematch clause. I guess the first question is, do you expect that to be invoked by Anthony Joshua?
According to my understanding, he has already activated the rematch clause, because the first thing he said when he came in the corner, when we were in the ring, he said, "We'll see again in the rematch." So he didn't even consider that as a possibility. It was just a decision already. And I heard that on a press conference, Eddie Hearn and AJ himself, they were thinking about the rematch, not just as a fact, but they were discussing the time when it's going to happen, what AJ has to change to win. So I think it will happen. Only some extraordinary circumstances can can change it. But as of now, it will definitely happen.
We've seen comments from Bob Arum, who's come out and offered Eddie Hearn the opportunity to have Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury if he beats Deontay Wilder for the undisputed title, with Anthony Joshua lying in wait to face the winner contractually. Do you see that as a potential possibility, or do you think that's not going to happen?
I didn't read this news, by the way. I hear it for the first time from you. What did he say?
So Bob Arum said that if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder, then they can pay Joshua to step aside, and you can do Fury versus Usyk for the undisputed title, with the winner having to box Anthony Joshua. What do you think to that?
Fresh news for me. Never thought it might happen, and need some time for consideration.
But you expect Anthony Joshua, well, you've said there, you've heard Anthony Joshua has already exercised his rematch clause, so you expect that to happen and not a potential undisputed fight with the winner of Wilder.
At this stage, as of now, we are getting mentally ready for the rematch. But the thing is that I don't see Fury winning Wilder.
Really? You're usually pretty good with these predictions, Alex. So I'm going to ask you why you think that.
Brother, this is not prediction. This is the hunch.
The hunch. Okay, why? Tell me about your hunch, Alex.
Well, I think Wilder gonna knock Fury out. I feel, not I think, I feel.
You very feel.
I am very feel.
Right, let's talk about the rematch, because I know that you're very much pressed for time. And after the fight in the press conference, Eddie said that he'd already received offers from overseas. Usyk has already boxed in the UK 3 times now as a professional. I know that there was some talk about Usyk wanting to take the fight to Ukraine, to Kiev. Where do you think that rematch is most likely to take place, and when?
Planet Earth is our limit. Whoever brings us the best offer, he will get the fight. So as of now, we are open, we are ready to accept the offers, to consider the offers, and to look for the best conditions for our fighters. As myself and Eddie, we are new generation promoters. Means that we are not owning boxers. We are helping our boxers. Our boxers are our clients, and our objective is to bring the best conditions for our fighters. So that's what we're gonna do.
We saw in the build-up to the first fight, the fight this past weekend, people question Oleksandr Usyk's size. We obviously saw that wasn't a problem. Do you expect him to be even better in a rematch against Anthony Joshua?
I expect AJ to be better in the rematch, because he has to change a lot. If he would try to learn boxing for another 6 or 7 or 5 months and try to overbox Usyk again, that would be a disaster for him. So his advantage is size and power. Once you cannot bring that kind of advantage and put it in action, you will not be successful.
Is there a deadline for the rematch to take place?
According to my knowledge, there is a deadline, but I just cannot keep it in mind. It's something like February, March next year.
Okay. The last few questions before I let you go, Alex. Do appreciate your time. You mentioned Fury versus Wilder. Okay, you're saying Wilder wins. A lot of people say Fury wins, or whatever. How does Usyk get on against Wilder or Fury? Are they easier fights than Joshua, more difficult fights than Joshua? How do those fights play out?
They're different. Each fighter has his own, let's say, peculiarities, right? If you are to fight Wilder, the preparation gonna be completely different as of one you're gonna have before Fury. 2 absolutely different styles, 2 different mentalities, and you cannot just compare them. Both are great fighters. One is both have amateur background, good amateur background. I mean, not just like AJ, who has excellent amateur achievements, but hasn't got that kind of knowledge and that kind of experience in amateurs. But Wilder, who is the bronze bomber, who was on the Olympics, and Fury, who also performed in amateurs, they know how to move, they know how to box, they know the techniques. But you know, at the end of the day, the one who is better prepared wins.
Do you believe Oleksandr Usyk is now pound for pound #1? Considering his achievements at cruiserweight, moving up to heavyweight, winning the unified titles against a bigger man?
If you ask me personally, I have no clue about pound for pound, because I consider this to be something that any man can have it in his mind. So for somebody, Canelo is #1. For somebody, Loma is #1. For somebody, still Klitschko #1. It's difficult to say that pound for pound, number one is someone who achieved something special. It's kind of, something that cannot be measured.
Okay. I should have known from speaking to you that you wouldn't be very much of a pound for pound man. It doesn't really strike me as your type of thing.
Pound for pound, what's the meaning of pound for pound? Who cares about pound for pound? You do just what you have to do. And then you have the result. And if someone considers you to be a pound for pound number one, well, that's good. If it's number 2 or 3 or 5, who cares?
Okay, Alex, final question I've got is for you. I saw a social media post that you put up where you posted a photo of the day that K2 signed Oleksandr Usyk coming out of the amateurs. You've been with him through the World Boxing Super Series, becoming undisputed cruiserweight champion, beating Tony Bellew on box office. He's now the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Just how proud are you of Oleksandr Usyk and the work that you've done together in that period of time? And what does it mean to you?
Absolutely proud. But the satisfaction comes when you put a goal and you reach it. It's not a dream, it's a goal. Because to reach a dream means brings, some stress in your life because you haven't got any other direction to go. But the goal means that you put the goal, you achieve it, and you put another goal and go for it. So we achieved another one. So now we have next step rematch, and as soon as it is successful, we will link for the undisputed heavyweight championship.
And just finally, you said to me about the mayor of Kiev, of course, Vitali Klitschko, yes, who we saw in attendance on Saturday night. Must have been a fantastic spectacle to have such a legendary character as Vitali Klitschko. I'm sure he's very, very happy for Oleksandr's achievements.
We just left his office. We had a short meeting. Short means 40 minutes. We managed to speak on video with Paco Valcarcel, with Mauricio Suleiman. He is and have always been the biggest fan of Usyk. His biggest fan. He attended most of his fights in Ukraine, all of his fights in Ukraine. He attended some of his fights outside of Ukraine. So he was at his first cruiserweight championship WBO in Poland. He was in attendance. He was in Los Angeles when Usyk fought Mchunu. Vladimir came to Riga. So he's one of his biggest fans. He really admires the style, and just to share the experience, whatever, just to cheer up, to support Oleksandr.
We saw Vitali and Vladimir dominate the division. Are we entering a new dominant force in the heavyweight division in Oleksandr Usyk, in your opinion?
I would like to think that way.
Okay, Alex Krassyuk, thank you very much for your time, not just today, but for the time of knowing you. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Congratulations again on a fantastic victory, and I'm sure I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Rob. It was my pleasure.